Feeling GalaxyCon Richmond! Let's get the energy up. Come on, it's Sunday morning. Well, afternoon now. It is St. Patty's Day. Happy St. Patty's Day, everybody. Well, you're in for your treat, and we've got some good luck for you because this panel's going to be really amazing. We got a dedicated Q&A going on. We have a mic there for you, and please keep it to one question per person. If you don't get a chance to ask your question during this panel, of course, you'll have an opportunity to go and visit our guests down at their table. They're here for the rest of the day, but they're here right now with us. You know them from so many amazing things, from Akira, from One Piece, from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Make some noise for the one and only Johnny Yong Bosch! Hi there. Sorry.
Kind of know them, and I was like, well, who else is coming out? I want a few more out.
Alrighty then. Well, welcome
you guys
to Richmond.
Doing all right?
Yeah. Now that you're here.
Good. I'm a little tired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever I come East Coast, I have a hard time sleeping. You know, because I'm West Coast. It's 3 hours, right?
I think so. Something like that. That's how time zones work. I don't know. I'm not sure myself. You know, it's been an exciting weekend. How's the weekend been going for you so far?
Good. Yeah. Really busy and a lot of people here. A lot of people here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
It's been over there.
Yeah.
the fans definitely show out here in Richmond for sure.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's good to see you again. Last time we got to talk about a lot of cool things. Got to talk about martial arts and our love for martial arts films. I know that you're a big fan of Jackie Chan, as am I, and you know he's doing the new Karate Kid. Have you heard anything about that? Are you excited about it?
Okay, I think I saw something about it, but I was like, wait, didn't he already do one?
Right, but him and Ralph Macchio now have teamed up, and they're gonna bring a new Karate Kid.
All right.
And is that something that you're interested in and looking forward to seeing?
I mean, that's cool. Well, I felt like last time when he did it, it almost felt like it should have been the Kung Fu Kid.
That's what I said, exactly.
And not karate, so.
Right.
I don't know, I mean, I'd love to see Jackie Chan, so whatever he does, I don't care.
I'll watch him do anything he does, man.
Yeah.
Speaking about martial arts and Karate Kid, are you a fan of Cobra Kai at all? Have you seen the series?
The first season I watched and I really liked it, and then the second season I ended up getting busy and I didn't stick with it.
Yeah, it's a great series. I mean,
And then there's like so many things out there, and then I'm like, I really should try to catch up on One Piece. So much, you know, and you kind of have to know what's going on, you know, and everywhere else. So when you go in, you kind of have an idea of what to do. So
Yeah. Speaking about One Piece, I know some of the cast here is from the live action is here. Have you had a chance to speak with them, meet them?
I've only I watched the live action with my son and Emily Rudd, right?
Right, she's here.
Yeah, we met her in L.A. and you know, he got to take a picture and everything. That was pretty cool.
That's pretty
She was
cool.
super nice and sweet. So yeah.
How old's your son?
He's 8.
Okay, so he's all about that life right now.
Yeah. Well, he's watching One Piece.
Right. What about some of the projects that you've done? Have you introduced him to those, and is he into it?
Tried, but you know, he's not. Whatever, Dad. You know, so I'm like, well, eventually you're gonna see Sabo, and you better like him. So my daughter, I tried to get. I might have said this last time, but I tried to get my daughter because her friends were watching Demon Slayer, and I was like, you know, okay, she might like it, and then so she wanted to watch it, and I was like, all right. I was like, yeah, let's watch it, and I watched it with her, and then she was really into it. She's liking it, you know, and having a good time. I wanted to watch the next episode, and you know, Gyu shows up, and I'm like, what do you think of that? Tell me, the guy, all right? She's like, yeah, he's all right. I got like Mexico. My dad, Mexico. So, anyways. And then I buy her all the Gyu toys.
You got to. I was just speaking to
But she's like, can you give me some of the others?
You gotta get all the toys.
I did. I went around. I got autographs from everyone. I waited in line too. Stood in line.
That's what's up.
You know, yeah.
That's
They're
really
like,
cool.
What are you doing? I'm like, I feel like this is what you do, right?
Right. I want the full experience. I don't want the fast pass. I want to do it like everyone else. Yeah.
Man, I get it. Those lines are long.
And sometimes they're really skinny and they're fitting.
Yeah.
It's like walking in a maze.
Although it was a long line, but I went to the VIP line. So I didn't go. It wasn't as long a wait. And then sometimes like I gotta get back to my table, so I'm like, hey, can I get in front of you?
You gotta use the purse when you can, you know? You're a big proponent of speaking about, you know, martial arts and what it's done for your life in terms of turning things around for you. You know, initially you being bullied and then using it to turn into a bully yourself.
Yeah.
Have you,
We talked about that?
we did, yeah, definitely did. And is that something that you instilled on your children as well? Have you put them in martial arts yet, or do they show any interest in it?
Yeah. They did do martial arts. Now they're doing other sports, but you know, I train them at home.
Oh, that's cool. Well, it's a great, like we've talked about this before as well, martial arts. I've been a breakdancer for a long time and a gymnast as well. It's a great segue into any type of sport or athletic.
Yeah, I mean, well, anything like that, anything
Yeah.
where you're using your body to do things, you then start to get a sense of your own body mechanics, you know, and each art is a little bit different. You know, dancing has obviously you're using your arms, you're using your legs, your
Right.
body, and then you know, the more you do those kinds of things, you know, like with stick fighting or knife fighting, you have a different sense. You know, boxing, you have a different sense. Jiu-jitsu, then it's like, well, when you're connected, it's like, well, I really need to know where their legs are and my legs are and how to create. It becomes a chess game, you know. So yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Well, you know, you have a very physical background, not only in martial arts, but obviously, you know, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. How much of the physical aspect of it translates into your performance as a voice actor? I know that a lot of people use that physicality, you know, in the booth to really bring the characters and the emotions to life. How does that translate for you?
Only my understanding of what I sound like or feel like whenever I have been in a sparring match or fighting or whatever, then I understand, like, you know, or what we call, sometimes they call them kias or whatever, you know, you understand the grunts and things that the noises that you make when you fight, you know, or when you get hit. And so that's the only time where I really am like, okay, well, I can't just, it's hard for me to sit down and do those things, you know, because I'm usually up on my toes if I'm doing that stuff, because that way I can bounce a little bit and my diaphragm will drop, you know, when I'm doing something so that you can kind of hear what it should sound like, you know, or at least so I feel like I'm doing it the right way.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you definitely want to give the character as much emotion as possible and make it seem believable.
Yeah, my concern is for you guys. It's like if you can tell if somebody's holding back. Like when I scream, I do scream. There's not like a technique. There are techniques, but I feel like if I'm doing a technique where I'm trying to protect my voice, which is probably a smart thing to do, but I feel like if I do that, then you're going to be like, oh, you're holding back, man. You know? And so I'd rather you hear it and think, holy crap, that must have hurt. You know? To do that. Yeah.
Well, you know, I definitely want to get the line going and get it started, so if you want to start lining up here. And then I just wanted to speak to you, you know, because I know you're part of the Dragon Ball universe, you know, voicing Broly in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. And obviously, we had a tragic moment recently where Akira Toriyama unfortunately went on to the other side. And I just want to get your insight and just hear your thoughts on how it made you feel, and also just like what it meant to you just to be part of his world.
You know, I mean, I think somebody brought it to my attention. I didn't even know. I do still feel like an outsider to it, you know. I don't feel like I'm completely in, so it almost felt like I wanted to post something, but at the same time I felt like I don't, almost like I don't deserve my place yet, you know. I don't feel like I've earned that place yet, but I absolutely respect everything they've done. It's a big franchise, you know. I still want to honor the franchise, but at the same time I'm like, well, I'm not on the inside circle yet. I'm still on the outside. What I feel, you know.
That's how you feel, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, what a legacy. You know,
Absolutely, yeah.
that is left. So.
For sure. I mean, he's inspired so many different, even just movies,
Yeah.
anime.
Absolutely.
But you know, you're definitely a part of it, 100%, and you brought such life, and your portrayal of Broly in that, it was so phenomenal and well done. And I think, in my opinion, as a fan of Dragon Ball, I think you were the perfect fit to fill that role. So thank you for your time in that. And with that said, let's go ahead and turn this over to the audience now, the Q&A. Anyway, keep it one question per person, please, and then we'll get as many as we can in the time allotted. And if we don't get a chance to ask now here at the panel, of course, you can ask Johnny down at his table. So, hi, what's your name and what's your question?
Hi, my name is Brooke, and my question is, how are you able to naturally convey such intense emotion in your voice acting? Because my favorite role of yours is Hajime from Danganronpa 2, and when he finds out his Izuru, he just sounds like he's having an entire mental breakdown.
I've had mental breakdowns. So it helps. It helps to go through drama in your life, you know, and then you understand certain emotions. But it also helps when the story is just built well, you know, and where the dialogue really kind of leads you to that place, you know, and a director, of course, you know, is there to kind of help guide you. Now that was, you know, that was just words on a page, and I remember we flew right through it. So there weren't a whole lot of breaks, you know, so I wasn't separated from what was going on. So as soon as we were working on it, you know, so I'd go from this thing to the next thing, and so I could feel the story and my character's journey, you know, and so I was connected. So once I understood who the character was and I'm going through it, you know, you're just in the ride, you know, and you just kind of go through it. Sometimes when you work on an anime, you work on it and then you walk away from it, and then you gotta, wait, what happened last time? What, you know, so this one was, you know, I don't even know if I spent more than a couple days on it. It was just, you know, just going through it, you know. And I don't know, I really think that as an actor, as any actor, you know, has gone through, all of us, I guess, not even just actors, but everybody's gone through something, you know. And so just figuring out how to get that out is the tricky part, you know. And it helps to have decent dialogue and a good story to kind of take you there. Thank you. What a great question.
All right, hi, what's your name and what's your question?
Hey, Johnny, Dennis.
Hey.
We meet again. It's an obvious question, but what was your favorite Power Ranger? Black, Zeo, or Turbo?
Was my favorite Power Ranger of the colors? Because it was the same character.
I mean, I'll go over.
It's just like me changing my clothes. So it should be like, which outfit was your favorite? I always wear black. I don't know. I probably would say black, you know. But I did like Zeo because they started to get into my character a little bit more. So somewhere between those two, you know. Yeah.
All right, hi, what's your name and what's your question?
My name's Carrie, and I was just wondering, excuse me, what was it like to get the two calls for Trigun Stampede and Found Near Bloodborne?
Oh, okay. Well, Trigun, yeah, Trigun, I remember I heard a rumor that they were working on, you know, like a new version of it or something. And I was like, and I didn't know if it was true, and I posted, I think, on Twitter. I was like, if this is true, I am definitely down. I just wanted to put that out there to whoever was in charge of that thing. And then, I don't know how long after, I saw that they were going to get a whole new voice cast, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm out. You know?
I think I saw you tweet about
Yeah,
that.
I did. I was like, dang it. I was bummed. And then I remember they had, I think the date was like, it was like the day after my birthday. It was like the release date was going to be January 7th, and I hadn't heard anything. And it was like, man, it's approaching that date. It was probably December and stuff. I was like, man, I guess I'm really not going to be asked to come back for this. And it was like so really late, like last minute, that they're like, you know, I got a text and a phone call. It's like, hey, we want to see if you'd like to reprise your role. Oh, yeah, of course I would. How the heck would you wait so long? You know? So I don't know what the thinking was, because they did. It is a very different take on it. It's a really cool take. And the neat thing is you can actually like them both separately because they're so different.
There's enough Easter eggs to...
Yeah, there's enough that kind of like, they honors the original. The soul is there. I also like that they didn't mess with the original. Because then it's like, you have that. We have that, and they're not going to mess with that. Now we got this new interesting take, you know, and so it's really cool. And if you haven't watched it, it's worth checking out for sure. But you do have to stick with it to that last episode. If you can watch to the last episode is where it goes like, this is where we're going. And then
There's
you're
never
like,
going to
holy
be-
cow.
There's never going to be a you running through the city screaming. It will never not be funny.
It was good. No, I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to do the next season.
I lost it with that and Thousand Year Blood.
Yeah. Well, Thousand Year Blood War, that one, I don't even know. I think I just got an email. And they were like, hey, so Bleach is coming back. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, yes, nice. Because I think I was gearing up to do, there's another guy that did like a fan-made Bleach, you know, and I worked on the first episode with him because he animated a really cool version of it, and we were working on the second one. He did a really great job at it, but then once that announcement happened, it was like, oh, well, I guess we're not going to do this other one. We're going to do the real one's coming back. So, yeah, just happy to be brought back, of course. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Hi, what's your name and what's your question?
Hi, my name's Wyatt. You're my favorite voice actor, so thank you for making my childhood awesome.
Thanks for watching.
My question was, what was the defining moment that you knew you wanted to be a voice actor?
Oh, man, I don't know. I don't know that I thought about, I just wanted to keep acting. After Power Rangers, I couldn't find a job on camera. At that time, there weren't a whole lot of, like, I just didn't fit the mold. You know, I didn't fit the mold of an Asian guy, you know, which was a lot of times, it was like, the description was Chinese guy, and my agent would send me out, and I'm like, I'm not gonna get that, you know? Or the Caucasian guy, I'm like, I'm not gonna get that. So I was just not able to book any jobs, you know, and thankfully the stunt guys from the show the Japanese stunt team wanted to shoot their own little action film, and they brought me on because I could do my own stunts. But the audio was screwed up, so I had to dub myself, and the producer happened to walk by and hear my voice and was like, hey, you got a good hero voice, will you come audition for this cartoon I'm doing? And so I went and auditioned for Trigun, I booked that, and I was like, wait a second, I could do this. Because this doesn't matter what I look like, you know, as long as I can deliver the performance, you know, and so, you know, I don't know if there was that moment, but it was like a thought in my head, like, I don't know if this is real yet, you know, so I was like doing all these other kinds of jobs, working wherever I can work, you know, I was like trying to be a personal trainer at one point, you know, and so I was like, I don't know if this is gonna be sustainable, and then eventually I was just like, I just gotta commit to it, you know, otherwise, who knows, right? I mean, if I just, I was going to say something that's probably inappropriate, but, you know, I don't really commit to it, you know? Sorry. I mean, it's probably not really inappropriate, but, you know, my coach would always say half-ass, and it's not that bad, but I know there's just kids here, and, I mean, yeah, I know, I'm sorry. Don't go say that, you know? I mean, I guess you could when you get older. Mom would maybe not like that. My mom would not like it. But anyways, yeah, I just felt like I should just commit to it and do it full-heartedly. I guess I should have said that, right? You're gonna learn that I'm an idiot. The longer I sit here and talk on this microphone, you will realize I'm an idiot. But thanks for the question. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, hey, step on up. What's your name and what's your question?
Hi, my name is Aaron, and I'm a huge Power Rangers fan. One of my favorite, like, I guess, Adam moments was in Power Rangers in Space. I believe the episode was Always a Chance.
Yeah.
What was it like getting a chance to basically mentor like the current Black Ranger at the time, Power Rangers?
It was cool, man. I mean, to be asked to come back was awesome. And I remember that Koichi, he was the stunt coordinator, the action director when I worked on the show, and I think he was still doing that, but he was like really kind of doing a lot of it. He was like writing stories, so he kind of co-wrote that one. Eventually he became an executive producer, but it was a really interesting take on my character, and my character's like carrying this backpack around, still has his busted morpher in there. So for me, I'm like, well, that tells a lot about the character, you know, of Adam. He still wants to be a Ranger, but he can't, you know. Maybe the other guys left and they wanted to leave, but Adam didn't want to. And I'm like, I like that story. Anyway, so I thought it was really fun. It was fun to get in there and to work with the new cast. I did ask if my character could die, because he's got a busted morpher, and that was the danger, you know. I'm like, oh man, it'd be cool if he just sacrificed himself to save everyone, you know. They're like, no. Kill Adam. Crazy? I'm like, well, I mean, it would be cool.
In Lost Galaxy, they did kill off a character.
Yeah, right. Eventually,
But then
they
she
said.
came back. She came back.
Oh, she came back? Oh, I have no idea. I don't know. I had a good time though. It was a lot of fun. And that was like, I mean, we kind of worked with those guys a little bit as we were leaving the show. But, you know, yeah, that episode was pretty funny. I just remember moments in there, the training sequences, and Roger, who played Carlos, like he would like run up the stairs. I felt like he was so into what he was doing as a character that he wasn't thinking about other things, I guess. And as he's running up the stairs, I'm like training him, like, come on, I'm timing him or something. He's running up the stairs and his shorts are falling down. And I'm like, are we still rolling? You know, and his shorts fall down and he gets up top, and then another moment he's like talking and he's like tired, and he's like drooling, and I'm like, you okay, man? Like, who are these guys? Like, I don't know, like, he was so into his character. He did a great job. It was fun. But he was like he wasn't like realizing the things that were going on, but I kind of liked that. I was like, man, you're really lost in your character. You're not even realizing your pants are falling down. Drooling all over yourself. Like, I'd be like, oh gosh, cut, please, I'm sorry, I'm embarrassed, my pants fell down. But he didn't. It was fun. We had a good time on that show. I think all of us did. Well, I mean, I certainly did. I can't speak for everyone. I do know there's a couple people that didn't, but I certainly did. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, hey, step on up. What's your name and what's your question?
My name is Andrea. Going back to the voice acting thing, because I have like a cover desire to do it. But we talked about the strenuous sessions earlier. What's your favorite, almost like cool down thing to do?
Favorite cool down?
Yeah.
Usually is I don't talk. That's the trick. You know, like if it's I kind of have. It's like decompressing. You know, I'm a bit more of an introvert to begin with, so it is kind of therapy for me to release a bunch of different emotion. You know, because I do hold a lot of things in, like a lot of things that might happen in my life. You know, I will just it just bottles up, and so being able to act on these things, then that's where these things just start to kind of manifest themselves. You know, and it is like a therapy for me. But then after that, there's a whole lot of time where I just don't speak, and just in my own space. Yeah. No, I mean, my kids can interrupt me anytime they want. There's not any kind of, you can't interrupt me. You know, the only time they can't is if I have like the red light on and I'm recording. You know, but they can interrupt me anytime. Yeah. Of course.
All right, hi, step on up. What's your name and what's your question?
Hi, my name is Rebecca, and my question is back to the Mighty Morphin. Was there any like practical jokes that either you played or one of the cast members played on each other?
I mean, Jason Frank was a big prankster. I'm trying to think. I don't know that I really played a bunch of pranks on people, because I'd say the thing with Jason is he didn't feel bad about it. You know? So and I may have instigated a few things, you know, like I would say something, and then I'd see him act on it. You know, I'm like, man, all right, you're gonna get in trouble. But then a lot of times we would all get in trouble. But yeah, there were plenty of times where pranks were pulled. I'm filtering through my head which ones I can talk about. But I can't think of any. Hang on, there are some. There are definitely some. Pranks, let's see. I mean, I could talk about this. I talk about this all the time. But, well, I have to skip ahead. So we were doing tree flips in Australia, and he blamed me for not, like, spotting him, but it was really his fault when he fell. He scratched his face. Anyway, so we're shooting a movie in Australia, and I don't remember how much, it was like maybe maybe the week after or so, we were shooting in this place that was like, not a desert, but it was kind of a desert to the ocean. And we're in the van, it's this girl is driving, and there's Jason and me, and the girls were in the back, and the window was open, and I was just doing that thing where you can go, you know, because we're flying through this desert to get to the location. And for whatever reason, I said out loud, I was like, it'd be cool if I climbed out of the car and got on the roof.
Oh, no.
And then climbed in on the other side. And I'm young and I was stupid, so don't ever do this, kids. And Jason was like, nah, you won't do it. He's like, yeah, man, I know. I mean, we're going 50 miles an hour. I'll get out of this car, get on the roof like Teen Wolf, and then climb in on the other side. And then he's like, nah, you're chicken. I know. Back then, that was a big deal. I was like, no, I'm a frog. I climbed out the window. It was a 50-mile-an-hour vehicle. I get up on the roof, and like I said, inside the car, you can do that thing where it feels like cotton, or you're like, that's right. But when you're on top of a roof of a moving vehicle going 50 miles an hour, you can't see anything. It's in the desert. It's like dust, and it's like, And that's when I realized, wait, I can die. And then so I pull myself over so I could at least finish this dare that I put myself in. And as I get to that window, suddenly the car starts to swerve, right? And I'm like, holy cow. And so I stretch out, And I'm hanging on, and I'm like, dude, she's trying to kill me. And then I pull myself forward to look through the windshield, and she's like freaked out because Jason Frank is yanking at the wheel. Like trying to throw me from the vehicle. Because of the tree flip thing, right? So he's trying to like throw me, and she's like trying to fight him off. She starts hitting him, and I get over there, and I try to get in, and he starts rolling up the window. She doesn't slow down at all. She just keeps going. Eventually, she starts hitting him, and then he opens it and lets me climb back in. And I lived. I lived. That's surprising. So there's one friend. That's a safe one I can talk about.
Hi, what's your name and what's your question?
Hey, my name's Jeff, and I got a question. You've done so many like action stars. What was it like to do Saku from Beck?
Oh, from Beck?
Yeah.
Beck. Okay, so Beck is an older anime. There's a band. He was the drummer, and that was awesome because I had a band, and a lot of their kind of experiences. Like I felt like I finally get to see an anime for a story that's kind of like what it's like to be in a band, and it's super cool. And I knew a lot of other bands, so a lot of the things that were happening in there, I was like, this is believable to me. But Saku was a great character. I really liked him. He was like a good buddy friend, and the drummer didn't really open his eyes. And drummers are a little bit different, But it was cool. I loved it. I really wish that we got to see them tour in the U.S. I think the manga they went on to there. But it was super cool. I loved it. And the box set is really sweet. Did you get that?
Yeah, I have your autograph on.
Yeah, you did. Okay, great. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. I love those. They're more like, I guess they're slice of life kind of things, right? Yeah. Those are cool.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, hey, what's your name and what's your question?
My name is Sean, and your performance as Lelouch in Code Geass is incredible. You had one of the all-time great evil laughs. What is your secret?
I don't know. I remember earlier on that one was kind of tricky for me because I didn't understand when he was zero, it was like what I was told there was notes given to us from the Japanese director that was like more Phantom of the Opera, and I'm like, what? And so he's the protagonist, but he's kind of an antagonist, he's like an anti-hero, but almost villainous. And so I was a little confused because I wouldn't be like, I'm going to kill you, I'd be like, hey, you want some candy? Bam, So my thought process was wrong, and then as they talked about it more and we got into the scenes a bit more, then I was like, oh, okay, this is just what it is. He is over the top as zero, and I'm like, well, what is that like? And so that really was me just putting on the performance of that character. And then there were certain things that I understood, like his relationship with Nonali and his friends, and then Shirley and all those things. Once things like that started happening, then I'm like, I can see where he's going. He's getting into this dark place. And so, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I don't know, I just committed to it, And then, I mean, you've seen the ending of it, right? I mean, what a great ending to that. To the second season, talking about the 2 seasons, and the end of that was excellent because it's like, man, he's a chess player and he's playing a few moves ahead of everyone, and I really love that kind of like thing. You're like, why is he doing this? And then you find out, So yeah, super cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for watching that.
All right, hey, step on up. What's your name and what's your question?
My name is Donovan, and my question is, you've got quite a story legacy. You've been doing this stuff obviously for quite some time. A lot of other voice actors end up in a director's chair behind the boards and stuff like that. Have you found yourself in a position where you've had someone who you might consider to be a peer in that position, and have you noticed if there's any sort of difference in the way that they offer direction when they've been someone recording lines versus someone who's never recorded lines?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, sometimes they completely understand. And sometimes they want to give you what they think you should do, you know? So you kind of find that, like, well, you're the director, so you're really the boss, but from my understanding, my through line is this, and I'm supposed to get to that place, and I feel like if I'm here, I can build to that place, you know? Like, so then you kind of have to come to an agreement, and then you balance it out. It just depends, you know, on if the person is, and I find most of the time they're completely understanding and give you your chance to do things, and then we'll be like, well, this is what I think. If you're doing this, and then they kind of, they can explain things a little better from their perspective. Also, you do have to trust the director, because you haven't watched all the episodes. You don't know the scripts or the story overall. You're coming in, you maybe know your character and your arc, but you really do have to trust the directors, which I always do. But sometimes I put my foot down, I'm like, I don't see it that way. Not always, but in most cases it's great. And I actually do prefer the person to be, at least have a good, or at least be a writer as well, you know, because then they have a better understanding. I think it's good to know all of it though, you know. If you're an actor that is also doing writing and understands how to write a story, you're understanding your backstories and where you're coming from, where you're going, you know, your arc, where you're going to end up, so how to get to that place and how to build it naturally. And the director has to do that for all the characters. You know, like this scene, what is the most important thing we gather from this scene, you know? And so it's just balance, you know, with everyone.
Great question. All right, hey, what's your name and what's your question?
Hi, my name is Trinity. So I played the Persona 4 game, Golden. I also watched the Persona 4 anime in dub. My question for you is, in the game, you are mostly silent, like, you know, you voice your game lines, you say Persona. What was it like making that transition to the anime that's like, as a fully voiced, like, fully realized main character?
Yeah, it was, well, first off, with Persona 4, I didn't know that I was going to be the protagonist. I only thought I was doing Adachi. So, and I wasn't told ahead of time. So I'm working on Adachi, and I only thought I was doing one character. And so I didn't think about my range, and I was like, I'm just going to do whatever feels right, you know? And then towards the end of wrapping up Adachi, they were like, all right, as soon as we're done with this, we're going to go through and you're going to do the protagonist. No That's when I was like, wait, what? What does he sound like? Same tone. It's like, is it the same actor? No. I'm like, okay, so he has to be different. But they're like, nah, it's just call out stuff. So maybe just pitch him down, rough him up a little bit, and you'll be fine. So I did that. And it was fine. Until the anime came out. You know, and then I'm like, wait a second, it's gonna sound like I'm talking to myself. So we did, at first I was like, can I just voice Adachi and you hire somebody else? And they're like, no. And I was like, all right, well, you know, let me do this character first, and then we'll go back through the episode and do the other character. That way I can really separate them. And then we'd go back through it and watch this scene, and then I'd go, I gotta take him this way, and I gotta take him this way. But the anime is he's a different character, you know, and so I think his persona, I didn't mean to use that word, his personality is different. You know, and so, or you feel a different sense of who he is. Like some people say that he's a Chad, you know. And I do. I think he's kind of a silly character in the anime, which made it pretty fun. But that was really when I really had to think about separating the voices a bit more. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, hi, step on up. What's your name and what's your question?
Amen, thank you. My name is Johnny, and I grew up in a ballet studio.
Your name is Johnny?
My name is Johnny.
Oh, sweet. I thought you were pulling a prank on me.
Yeah, I grew up in a ballet studio, and when I put together movements that I learned from a very young age, I we started martial arts at a very young age, it kind of feels like a language. Do you ever feel like when you're sparring or when you're doing a scene even with martial arts, do you ever feel like there's a language there?
Oh, absolutely. There are times when I see things that a director can't see. Like in an anime, a lot of times they can just play, some studios know this, they can just play me the action and I can chase it and I can see it. And I'm like, well, I can see he's doing a jump spinning crescent, he does like a sweep and he's followed over two and he's got a couple blocks like, and I'm going through the choreography. And I can see it. So I'm like, okay, I'm good to go. And I just do it on the fly. I don't really need to see it ahead of time. But sometimes we'll do it, and a director was like, oh, hang on a second, can we, let me go back through that. And I'm like, well, I got it. You know, you can just let me go, and then you can adjust it later, but I know what's going on. But then some director's like, well, I need to understand it. I'm like, okay. And then so we end up spending extra time because the director doesn't understand the language. Like, I understand the language, you know, and I'm like, no, okay. So I'll let you catch up to understanding, and sometimes they're like, well, let's just get the first two moves, and I'm like, just leave it open. Leave it open and let me chase it, and then we can pick up something if you want, but we're gonna spend a lot of time going back through it, and you got like 25 moves in this thing, let me just roll through, and then, you know, if you don't like it, then that's that, but yeah, absolutely. There are plenty of times where I feel that way. And in martial arts, you feel that way too, you know? Everyone, it's like, and sometimes somebody's language is more advanced than yours. Your understanding of it too, you know? I'm like, oh, he caught me, he's reading me now, you know? And you can read like, I'm telegraphing somehow. And then it's like, all right, well, how do I adjust that? How do I change my language so he doesn't understand what I'm about to do? Or how can I trick him by making him think this is what I'm actually saying when I'm actually gonna kick him in the groin? You know, so it's like different things like that, you know? And so, but yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, hi. What is your name and what is your question?
My name's Autumn, and my question is, do you have like a favorite or most memorable moment, either from working in the industry or on the job, or just at a con in general?
Well, there's a whole lot of great moments, you know. A lot of times they do happen at a convention where I get to see, because I'm in the booth, you know, and I turn all the lights off. All that's on is either my screen or the script, and I just focus on what's there, you know. And there's not like, the director doesn't go like, yay, good job, that was fantastic. And most times they're like, all right, next scene or whatever, right? You're just moving on because you have time, right? You gotta get through a certain amount by a certain deadline or whatever. And so you don't get there's no reward. It's not like I'm out on stage, you get an applause. So when I come to a convention, this is where I find out, great, okay, Trigun Stampede resonated with fans, you know, and then I'm like, this is awesome, okay. So they're not angry that where we took the character, even though it's slightly different, they're still on board. So this is really where I get to see it and go like, you know, this is kind of, it's almost like the reward, because I get to meet everyone and talk, well, what did you think about this, you know, or like, have you seen, you know, have you read the manga, you know, and it's like, because I've read the manga now, and I know what's going to happen to you, you know, and that's always fun to find out too, you know, and sometimes that's like Demon Slayer, that was an accident, I just wanted to know if my character was coming back. I'm like, oh my gosh, I found out too much, now I have to read it. Yeah, so I don't know a specific moment, but always at a convention, there's always great moments, you know. I mean, just the other day, I saw a kid, he was in line, and his sister was getting something, and he's like, can I get something? And she's like, no. And then I heard that, and then I could see his face, you know, I'm like, don't worry, I'll take care of you when you get up here. And then he got here, I signed her thing, and then and he was so sad because he wasn't going to get anything. I was like, well, what are you into? What do you like, One Piece? All right. And then I got him a piece, and I signed it for him. He was like, but I don't have any money. I'm like, well, take it. I don't care. I want you to be happy, you know? And that, to me, is that's like what no, don't talk to me. No, it's like that rewarded me, you know, that made me feel good. So it was a bit selfish at the same time, but it does make me happy to see you guys happy. It really does. I mean, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you guys. So you need to know that I really appreciate you guys. In my head, I don't deserve any of this. So you guys just showing up is awesome. And I just appreciate you coming. Maybe you just wanted to see because you don't want to stand up anymore. But I appreciate you staying and not taking off. But yeah, thank you guys. I really do appreciate it.
All right, so just so you know, we have about 5 minutes left, so let's try to lightning round these questions and answers as quickly as possible so we can make sure everybody gets to ask their question. So here we go, as quick as you can. What's your name and your question?
Hello, how are you? My name is Amir Nasiri, and I am an aspiring voice actor. And one of my largest questions is, as this industry grows and is changing, as you know, what is your number one piece of advice to voice actors or people engaging themselves within the voiceover industry?
I don't know. I get this a lot. And it's a great question. I'm not saying it's not a great question. But because it keeps changing, I don't know the right answer, you know? I could say a few things, and I will. I would say, if you aren't already trying to study acting, definitely study acting and try to get some experience acting. And maybe not you know, targeting just voiceover, but just learn how to act and understand acting and understanding how to break down your character, you know, and build that through line of your character. And then I'd also say, learn to write, because writing is going to help you in creating your character. Because sometimes you won't get the backstory, you know, and then you'll just have to like make something up in your head so that you can believe yourself doing that, you know. I would say those two things, and then if you really want to do voiceover, find someone like Stephen Bloom who teaches, you know, maybe take a class or two with him and just, because then it's like being a martial artist, right? If you're like, hey, what should I do as a martial artist? I'm like, I wouldn't know until we start training together, you know? Then I could be like, well, your punches are weak, you know, or I could read everything, you're telegraphing. So I don't know where you should start. That's where someone, if you do take a class, you know, if you specific to voiceover, then they can tell you you're weak in this area, you're strong in this area, so work on this. So for me, it would just be a blanket, like, well, just start acting, maybe find a coach or something like that. I'd also say, if you're writing, and you're not an artist, try to find an artist, you know, and then, because like you can create your own material, you know, you can find an artist that loves to do art and wants to create a thing, and you're like, well, hey, I love stories, let's make something. And then you can, you know, do a motion comic and throw it up on YouTube and see if that connects with people, and then maybe that becomes a thing. Yeah, I would just follow your passion and just keep your eyes open. You know, I know it's kind of strange advice. I don't really know. I don't really have a specific idea.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. All right, we got 2 minutes left. Here we go. Lightning round.
My name is Justin. Huge Devil May Cry fan, 4 and 5 especially.
Thanks.
What was it like to return to Nero's role after that awful?
It was, yeah, well, it was awesome. I thought for sure when they did the reboot that we were done for, but because that didn't resonate with the fans, they released that special edition, and fans were like, okay, yeah, we like this one. And then so, and I didn't even know, because me and Ruben, who did Dante, we were working on something else in Japan, doing some motion capture. And I just took a picture with him. And that picture, I posted it, it was like, hey, you know, everyone thought it was DMC5. And they were like, you know, I got in trouble. And they're like, you got to take that down. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even take a picture. You know? So I can't take pictures with Dan Southworth or Ruben outside of anything else and post it, because the fans will say, oh, you guys doing DMC6? I'm like, well, no, we're just friends. You know, but yeah, so yeah, I was absolutely happy because with DMC4, they hinted at the story, but they didn't give you all the story. And so I'm glad that we got to go back into 5 and then get into that real quick. So thank you. I know we're probably running out of time. Let's see if I can do these faster. Real quick, you don't even have to say your name. Just what's your question?
What's your favorite moment playing Sabo?
Playing Sabo? Oh, it's coming. Stay tuned. All right, yeah, okay.
All right, thank you. Question, go.
What's your favorite, more obscure, less known role that you've done?
Favorite obscure? Kiba, Wolfstrand.
Awesome. Go.
Favorite moment playing Canada in the...
Shouting Tetsuo.
Yes!
You know? There's, of course, a lot of cool animated moments, like the bike slide.
Just to finish it off, could we maybe get a Bankai?
Yeah! You know, my voice is really messed up right now, but I'll definitely try to get one for you. Ready? Yes. One, cut! Thank you,
everyone. So we got the other people. We're going to do the rest of the weekend. And now we got our photographer Tim who's going to take a photo of you, Johnny, right here on the end of the stage, if you don't mind. Just move